Alright, so now what we're going to do is we need to add in a placeholder where we can add in the images onto, and the videos onto, so that it flops down as well and add some animation. So as you will see, we've got this nice image here. For some reason, actually, if we go back into placeholder 1, you'll see that this shape layer isn't actually starting at 0 seconds, so make sure you click on this and bring it to 0 seconds. Okay, that's cool. And then what we want to do is we want our placeholder to start flopping in at about 6 seconds when this character just jumps on. So bring this over to 6 seconds. Then what we need to do is actually add in a composition behind the rectangle so that we can add our videos onto there. So to do that, what we can do is copy this rectangle, so Control C, and then come over in composition, new composition, and let's call this one placeholder 1, add your video here. Click OK. Okay, so if we hit Control V, we've got our rectangle, and we can place our rectangle in here. This one actually fits perfectly for this composition. Now, if your composition, maybe for example it's 200 by 200 to start off with, then what you need to do is place your rectangle there, and then go to composition settings and bring it up so that it kind of fits about the same size. Let's have a look. It's about 226. Okay, something like that. That looks quite good, and click OK. And then what we can do is position this rectangle. See, that looks quite good. Cool. So you want to make sure that the rectangle is bigger than the composition, because it's going to go behind there. So now what we can do is go and grab a video. So let's go right click, import file, and I'm just going to grab this video and drop it in here to show you. Then we can scale that down, make it a bit smaller like so. And if we come over here, what we now need to do is go to compositions, and we need to add in our placeholder 1, add your video here underneath placeholder 1, underneath the rectangle like so, so that we can position it behind there like so. Make sure that it fits good. I think it's perfect size. That looks good. If it's too small, then obviously go back into this composition and make it a bit bigger. And yeah, like so. So now what you want to do is we can come back over to scene 3, and we need to add in some expressions. So first thing we want to do is make sure that placeholder 1, that the anchor point's at the top. So let's go and click on placeholder 1, grab the anchor point and place it at the top. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so that's quite good, about there. And then what we want to do is we need to add in some keyframes. So make sure that the timeline indicator is at 6 seconds. Click on placeholder 1, drop transform down, and for the rotation, actually first we need to make it 3D. So let's click on 3D and then drop down these properties. Now for X rotation, we need to make this about -81. Let's have a look at this. So you can't really see it. That looks good. Okay, and then click on X rotation, and then bring it up about just over halfway to 7 seconds, so about 0.6 of a second, I guess. And then what you want to do is bring it down to 0. So click on X rotation at 0, and that looks good. Now what we can do is add a quick expression. So download the expression next to this video. It's called placeholder flop expression, and then right click, copy, or Control C. And then what we can do is Alt and click on the stopwatch and Control V to paste it in. So now we have to see that we add in this nice kind of animation where it kind of wiggles at the end. If you don't add in the expression, it will just come and stop without doing that kind of back and forth movement. And we've got a video playing at the same time. Now, if you're probably going to have a background music for the main video, so what you want to do is take off the audio from the placeholder, because otherwise you'll have two backing tracks going on at the same time. It won't sound that nice. So yeah, so that's how that works. So this animation kind of flops in about 7 seconds. It's still. So what we want to do is leave our placeholder on for maybe about 4 seconds. Up to you. So I'm going to leave that to 4 seconds and go to about 11 seconds. Then I'm going to click P for position, and I'm going to move it off the screen. So I'll place it about there, and click and hold down Shift and drag it off. So at about about there, when or maybe about there, we can have another placeholder flopping in. So let's go to placeholder 1. We'll grab the same one within our project panel, go to placeholder 1 and duplicate that, so Control D, make another one and drop this in over here. Okay, great. And now what we're going to do is click and drag this to start off right there where the timeline indicator is. Okay, so what we can do now is actually go into placeholder 1, and we're going to copy the X rotation keyframe. So click on X rotation here and hit Control C, and then come over to placeholder 2 and Control V for paste, and make this 3D as well. First of all, make it 3D, and then actually bring up this as well to the top, and then Control V to paste that in. So now we've just added those same keyframes onto this one as well, and we'll allow this one to stay there for a certain amount of time. So it kind of flops in about 13 seconds, I think it is, where it kind of comes to a still about 13 seconds. So leave it to about 17 seconds, so another 4 seconds on there, and then hit P for position, click on the position stopwatch and bring it up just over half a second, and and then get the selection tool and click and drag it off. Maybe even make it a bit longer, actually, about to there. Cool. So at about this point, we want to add in our last one. But first of all, what we need to do is go to placeholder 2, and this placeholder here that we haven't actually duplicated it, so it's the exact same one as placeholder 1. For, as you can see, it says placeholder 1, add your video here. So what we need to do is actually duplicate this one, and we need to add the second one into here. So let's go ahead and delete that one and drop this one in here like so. Okay, and position that. The reason why we're doing that is because if we don't actually duplicate this one, then this placeholder 1 will be in each of the placeholders, and so the same video will be playing, and we won't be able to have 3 videos. So this allows us to have a separate folder, so we can add a different video onto that, if that makes sense to you. So I'm just going to rename this placeholder 2, hit enter. Okay, and what we can do, I'll just show you. So I'll take off, if I come to placeholder 2, I'll delete that video. Let's go right click, import file, and I'll grab another video, see if I've got one in here. Okay, something like, yeah, maybe this one, just grab this for an example, drop this in here, and come over here, I'll drag across a bit more. Okay, and we also need to create a different description one. So that's going to be the same description because it's the same folder. So for placeholder 2, we need to duplicate description 1 to over, where is it? I think we put it in edit compositions, or maybe it's in the main ones. Okay, here it is here. So duplicate that and then delete description 1 and drop that in there and place this at the bottom as well. So if we come over here, we can change that text up by getting the text tool, and let's say description 2. Control enter. There we are. Okay, cool. And as you'll be able to see, there's our second video we've got now, and at the beginning, if we come over here, we've got our first video there, and then the second one is this different one here. Okay, cool. So that one comes on at 13 seconds, I think it is. About 13 seconds, so it goes to 17 seconds. And then this one flops off. So at about there, we'll add in the final one. So let's go to placeholder 2, and we need to actually duplicate that. So we go to here, Control D to duplicate, and drop that in, and then drag this across. Okay, cool. And then what we want to do is get the anchor point and place the anchor point at the top. Okay, that's quite good. And then we can just go back again into these controls, get the X rotation, click on that. But first of all, make sure that's 3D, and then click on that, Control C, and then just click on the layer and Control V, and that will add in that keyframe, those keyframes. Okay, so it's looking good. And then what we can do is we don't actually need to bring this off because we're going to create another flop that comes in. So what we can do is we need to change placeholder 3. We need to come in and actually change these parts as well again. So placeholder 2, we need to duplicate that to make it a placeholder 3. So I'm going to click on this so that we can add a different video in. So placeholder 3, and we'll delete this one and drop this one in over here behind the rectangle. Okay, so if I go into and actually upload another video, place it into content, right click, import file, desktop, find a video. Okay, cool, so I've got a video here. And I'll drop this one into placeholder 3, add your video here. And I'll delete that one and drop the video in here like so. Okay, cool. And there we are, so that looks nice. Description 2, we need to delete that one and actually grab, duplicate, hit delete, not delete there, delete on this placeholder and duplicate that one here, so Control D and drop in description 3 above the rectangle and position it on there like so. Let's come in here and we'll change the text up to description 3. There we go, it's looking good. And as you'll be able to see now, we've changed those placeholders, description 3, we've got description 2, and different videos on each of them as well. So this is, that's basically how you create this slide. What we're going to do in the next video is we're actually going to finish it off by creating an iPad, and we're going to create that flop again, and then creating iPad and the contact slide. So that's basically how you create this. I know it was a bit confusing, I guess, some of the things we go through, but just go through it slowly and create your placeholders.